Okay. Pokemon Legends Arceus ZA looks like dog crap. I have watched a bunch of streamers play it, and though the mechanics in the game look fun, the world looks boring. And I said this the same thing about Scarlet and Violet, but I defended Scarlet and Violet because the world was open world, it was more interesting, and you could go and do more things. Okay? Sword and Shield was really bad. And I think that's basically the start of the downfall of Pokemon, is from Sword and Shield onward. But dude, Pokemon's Legends ZA is one map that you can cross and traverse from one side all the way around to the other side in under a minute. There's really no excusing that. And not only that, the graphics look terrible. Everything looks like a box with just stickers on it. You can't go inside any of the buildings. You can't do as much. You can go on the roofs, but the roofs are just as boring as a roof would be. And there's not much to do. You break these like little crystal things, and I am a huge Pokemon fan. Let me get this straight up. I am a huge Pokemon fan. I love Pokemon, okay? I loved Pokemon for a long time, and I've played every Pokemon game until now. This is it. This is my breaking point. I can't do this. The quality of Pokemon has just regressed over time. I don't like any of the megas. There's no regional forms for a Legends Arceus game, which is ridiculous because we got introduced to, like, the last one, we got Wooden Voltorb and a couple other different, like, variant Pokemons. In this game, you don't get any. You just get the mega forms. And most of the mega forms look like trash. And number one on Fraudler is the Starmie mega form. The Starmie mega form is so bad. I need to show you guys this. This you guys have to like literally look at this because it's so bad. Like, there, look at that. That's one of the megas in this game. In that game, it's unexcusable, dude. I don't know how you defend this. That's crazy lazy. And that's just mainly my biggest problem with this game. Not only does the world feel lifeless, I've watched people walk around in the world and basically the NPCs just stand still, and only maybe one person is shown walking around and doing nothing. How can a game in the big 2025, like, and I guess it's like that Starmie picture was a good one for like how the graphics look. But if we go to this, I'm gonna bring out the Coliseum argument because it has to be talked about. There's just no way I can say anything now, because, like, are you telling me, is the Switch weaker than a GameCube? Is the Switch weaker than a Nintendo 64? Is a Switch weaker than both of those games? Those game consoles? Are they weaker than that? Okay? So, like, let me show you this now. Bam. So look at this. This is Pokemon Coliseum. This is the graphics right, like, basically right here. This is what it looks like. You know? And then here's Legend ZA. And this picture is in HD quality, by the way. I'm purposely picking some bad ones on Pokemon Coliseum. You know? But, like, literally, the upgrade seems so minuscule, it might as well just be nothing. How in 22 years have they not innovated since then? Fun of the gameplay. No, I would say the graphics of Pokemon Unite are probably better. And it's just reused models. Like, a lot of the models are reused. Like, almost, like, you know, you can't even, you know... I get that there's a lot of Pokemon in the Pokemon franchise, but also Pokemon is, like, one of the largest gaming companies. I think it's over, like, almost $1 trillion company. And you're telling me that you can't put enough effort? So when I look at this game and I I think of, man, what's that racing game that I didn't like that came out? Mario Kart. You look at Mario Kart and you can see that in Mario Kart World, all the NPCs are moving. All the NPCs are doing everything. They go from one side of the map to the other, and it feels like, even in that game, it feels like a fleshed out world. Why can't we get that kind of, like, quality in Pokemon? Even in the Donkey Kong game that came out also looks a lot better than Pokemon. Okay, so why is it that, like, we get crap quality, crap world building, crap everything in Pokemon, but every other game is, like, a phenomenon? But in Pokemon, people make the excuse, the graphics in Pokemon, they're so bad because they have to be bad because it's the limitations of the console. It's the limitations of the console. That's why it's so bad. But hear me out. It's the most expensive Pokemon game ever. With a day one DLC of $30 to get everything unlocked, it's over $110. It's a $70 baseline price, and it has a day one DLC of $30. So if you want to get everything, that doesn't include online. That does not include online, because if you get online to get the specific Mega Pokemon that you have to get from playing the rank system, you're looking at another $20, $30 for Nintendo Online. So it could go up to like $140. Like, and to say that a $70 game shouldn't have like the same quality as like the other games that are in its same umbrella by the same company is ridiculous. Dude, how is it that, like, how is it that, like, cheaper games like Helldivers, or one of them, I'm going to use, like, the indie games, I guess, have better quality? Even, like, people were talking about the Digimon game that came out also is just way better in graphics, in world building, in animations. And you know what's even more crazy? That they still don't have custom animations for each Pokemon. They all just kind of stand there lifelessly. But even in our own games, when it was like pixel form, they all had their own unique animations in what they would do to express the Pokemon a little bit. So you're telling me that, like, you can't make the Pokemon, like, jiggle around or a little bit while it's waiting? It just has to stand still in a T-pose, basically, forever. I just don't know. I can't, dude. And I was watching someone, like, defend it. Like, yes, I can admit, like, some of the game mechanics in the game look good. But am I crazy for wanting more from, like, a franchise that I've liked for a long time, and I just want them to put the same effort and care into their game as they do for other games that are under the same umbrella of the company as a whole? Why aren't we getting the same kind of love and effort put into Pokemon as Mario games, as Donkey Kong games, as... You know, I get it that it's Game Freak, but Game Freak apparently makes good games. Apparently they make good games, but I haven't seen them. I haven't seen any of their games be good because all their Pokemon games are kind of booty cheeks. Also, dude, okay, we have to do this. I'm gonna have to... How is it that the 3DS version of the game of Lumio City looks more detailed than the Lumio City that we got. So this is the Lumio City, I think it's ZA. Yeah, ZA. Here's the Lumio City shots in the 3DS version. Here's also the 3DS version. Like, I'm not even kidding. And you can actually go inside of these buildings on the 3DS version, and there are places to go inside. Here's the 3DS version. Here's another one. Look at that. Look how the windows actually pop out. And then we'll go to the ZA. You see how the windows are just a JPEG and they overlap with each other right here? And this is a really good picture of, like, ZA. But here's the same city on the 3DS. And I'm just picking random ones. Like, look at that. They actually have 3D model buildings. They're not just blocks with textures slapped onto them. It's crazy, because these games are, like 10-something years apart, too. And it's, like, the same spot, same shot. Like, that's what really pissed me off the most, I guess. Because you could, even though in the 3DS you can only go into, like, a portion of the city, right? That portion of the city is way more detailed than all of ZA. You could make the argument for. You can make that argument. I feel like you could make that argument. I mean, it doesn't even look that much different. Yeah, remember that this is like 10, 13 years. Yeah. And here's the 3DS. It's just city. I don't understand. Like, here's another 3DS. You can see that there's more trees. There's more people. So how come we couldn't even get that same quality? You know, like, actually having, like, buildings look like buildings and not just boxes with PNGs slapped over them. Like, these buildings have textures. They have indents for windows and platforms for other things. Why? Why couldn't we get that? Like, I get that there's no grass. And you could, like, look at this and be like, oh, look at the grass, the shrubs. You know? Rather simple. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of blown away. Because I don't know what to do. I even said that you could probably find it, but I said I was hyped for ZA when it was first announced. Because obviously I was. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I love Pokemon, you know? But even I have my breaking point where something is so bad that I can't support it. Like, I have to vote with my wallet, and I'm not gonna buy it. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna disagree with me. There's gonna be a lot of people that be like, oh, but look at this, it's actually way better. It's actually, no. If it's only less than 10% better, it's not better. It's just the bare minimum. People were telling me about these catacombs underneath the city. I looked into that. It was just the sewer sections, and they're all straight lines, and they all have the same patterns on them. So it's just, like... It's just unbelievable. Dude, the 3DS, I'm looking at more shots of Lumio City, like, right now, from the 3DS games, and I'll show you. I'm gonna bring it back on here. But, like, look at this bridge shot. That looks beautiful. And you can see the outside world, and you can, like, the buildings actually textured. They have, like, different things that pop out of it. You can tell that it's not a square just with things on it. And then here's another picture of the Lumio City from ZA. And this is the same, like, window texture I've already shown you guys. They have the same window texture for most of these buildings. They're all the same. And then here's another picture of that same city in the 3DS. And then you can see that some of these buildings are actually different colored, and these buildings are actually different colored. And that they have, like, little platforms for the windows to sit into. And then they have trees everywhere. Sure, they don't have as many NPCs, but like they still have NPCs sitting and talking, you know? And this was actually really good for back then, because that was like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. So like, is the 3DS stronger than the Switch? It just feels so like pathetic in a sense. Is the 3DS stronger than the Switch? Because now I need to have that question answered. Like, technologically, is the 3DS stronger than the Switch? Or is it almost equal? Because it's just like, I don't know. I just can't. Like, it's frustrated me so much. Like, thinking about it has frustrated me more and more. And I just needed to get it off my chest because, like, I deeply like Pokemon. I do. I have, like, a slight emotional attachment to it because I played it as a kid on my first DS when I was, like, in elementary school. Okay? So I've played it a long time. Okay? And it's just that it's just not there. There's no love. Like, even in the other games, like the older games, like Heart Gold, Soul Silver had so much love put into that game. Like, and it felt like each Pokemon game back then built off the last one and improved a lot of things. And I don't know what happened. I've always said this, that like I feel like Pokemon peaked in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire with Black 2, White 2. And everything after that, like that point, like I'm starting with the Alola, and then mostly onward after that, like Pokemon has been on a steady decline. You know? And it's been very frustrating to see, like, because Pokemon is the only game company that can sell you the same game twice and smile about it. You know, it's the only game. You think Call of Duty doesn't want to do that? They want to sell you the same game twice, but with, like, maybe different guns in it? You're out of your mind. They would eat that. Like, it's so frustrating. Because it's like, the potential of Pokemon is probably the greatest potential that any game could ever have. And they just sit on it. They would rather sue Palworld for, like, getting tired of waiting and innovating, and they do it themselves and they make a way better game. So it's crazy. It's the corporal sickness. If leadership consists of bangers and not gamers, the quality goes down and the prices are going up. I wouldn't even, well, yeah. I would only say that as me and my 3DS looking at my Switch and now a borderline paperweight. Yeah. Did you know Nintendo sued the idea of mounts in a game and they got that? They got the patent for that? Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy. We need to start sending emails to our president. We need to start sending Twitter tweets to him being like, "Hey, Mr. President, what would be the good way if you get?" No, we don't want them to get involved because they'll just be like, "Video games are bad." Okay, they'll be like that. They wouldn't understand. They're too old. They wouldn't get it. They'd just be like, "Money." Oh, it didn't bungo Warner Brats and more. It's sickening. Yeah, it really is. Like, I think Warner Bros is like the second. Warner Brats, actually, yeah. Warner Brats is like the second worst one because they canceled that Batman Beyond movie, which would have been super fire. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but they had like concept art of the Batman Beyond movie that the same studio that did Into the Spider-Verse wanted to make a Batman Beyond movie series, like a trilogy of movies for Batman Beyond, and it looked really good, but they turned it down, which is crazy. I think that's crazy because I feel like Batman fans are dying, man. I'm not a Batman personally. I like Batman, but he is definitely not my like top 5, top 10. You know, but even I would be down to watch a Batman Beyond movie. You know, it's kind of crazy how like they buy all these things. It's like the same thing with Star Wars. They buy everything up and they hire people that either hate the franchise or don't want to innovate the franchise, and they pump out this crap and don't know anything about the characters, don't want to know anything about the characters, don't even want to create interesting characters that can push the boundaries of what the story could be, you know? And it's kind of sad. Star Wars is like a big crime victim of that. None of, like, if you read most of the stuff that those people that have worked on the Star Wars stories, they either like never have watched Star Wars or like they don't care and they don't like it. And I'm like, why are people that hate the stuff being hired to make the stuff? You know? That's why I'm like happy that the one franchise that I like that's still getting actors and producers and stuff that like the franchise and want to make it even better is Godzilla. I'm worried that I say that, I'm gonna jinx it, and then someone's gonna be like, let's actually give the directing to somebody that actually hates the franchise and ruin Godzilla. I would be so mad. I would hope Toho buys whatever they make and then make another Godzilla movie like they did in Final Wars and kill it. But, yeah. They got Nintendo's money and will buy competition out of the way. Yeah, it's such a shame. Like, and that's why I was like, I always thought like, hey, I thought it was like gaming patents are probably the most evil thing you could do ever because it literally halts innovation. It halts the progress of creativity, full stop. There is a game patent is the worst thing you can do for creativity, I would say, in video games. Because full stop halts, cancels out the idea, which means if ideas can be bought and unallowed to be innovated and expanded on, eventually what's going to happen is we're just going to get the same games all the time, and there's not going to be any creativity, there's not going to be any innovation, because if you innovate on the wrong thing, you'll get sued for it. Which is why I've always have been against game patents. I don't mind if you like patent like your like the characters in the game that are your marketing and stuff. That's fine. I get that. You own those characters, but like mechanics and like specific things you can do in a game, owning that is crazy. That's like owning the right to throw a ball. That's like owning the right to do a push-up. That's like owning the right to do a handstand. Did you invent the handstand? Did you throw that ball? Did you invent throwing the ball? Did you invent catching? No. That's just basic. Like that's what I mean. Like that stuff's stupid. Did you invent arm wrestling? Oh my goodness. Did you invent the high five? You want to patent the high five? Like that is, it's, and when you break it down into like that kind of argument, it's really stupid. It really, really is. And it just gets worse. It just gets worse from there. And there's no upside. There's not. It just, they could just keep going until every game can only work within the confines of the patents that they own. And then other games will have to either like struggle to make anything because everything is owned in a patent, like the ability to aim ADS. Someone's going to patent the ability to aim down sights. Someone's going to patent the ability to you know, it's, and that's like the type of stuff that is getting patented right now. The ability to throw a ball and catch a monster. That is the same like value of holding a gun and aiming down sights. And if that gets patented, a lot of shooter games that I like are I don't know what's gonna happen. Nobody will know what's gonna happen. Indie games will be crushed. And maybe only AAA games will be left. Yeah, it's crazy. Patent breathing in video games. Yeah, watch them patent the T-pose. Oh my gosh. It just like there's so much gray area in game patents that I feel like there shouldn't be patents for game mechanics specifically. I'm okay if they like patent the copyright of their characters, or like maybe like mostly just the characters and vehicles in the game. Like you shouldn't be straight ripping other people's like creative content, but mechanics, that's where I draw the line. Like you shouldn't be able to patent game mechanics, because we as humans are always taking other people's ideas, expanding them, making them grow. I'm sorry to tell this to most of you, probably already know this, but ideas have always come from someone else, but they put their own spin on that idea to make it better or worse. And that's just kind of how we work. Monkey see, monkey do, monkey make better. That's just kind of how it is, you know? To the human race as a whole. Oh my goodness. Patenting wheels would be fun to see. Dude, they already patented mounting mythical creatures and riding them. You know how many games have mythical creatures that you can ride? A lot. So patenting the ability to get in a car and drive is next.